What's another question, common question you get regarding the
Yeah,
all-in-one?
so a lot of people kind of, again, they go, my interest rate is lower, so my payment or my interest is going to be lower. And that's where you can't compare the 30-year mortgage to an all-in-one first lien HELOC position because, yes, numerically the interest rate is higher on these first position HELOCs. However, because you're not making payments based off of what you borrowed, but based off of what you owe, big mind shift there is that as you continue, if you're the right candidate for this, as you continue to see that product reduce in balance, your interest is going to drastically decrease. And so if you're no longer spending $3,000 a month in mortgage expense, but now you're spending $1,000 a month, well, you've just increased savings by 2 grand, which is then going to continue to pay that mortgage off at a drastically faster rate than in any other product without losing access to your money. So comparatively, in the all-in-one compared to a 30-year mortgage, we're not looking at interest rate, we're actually looking at interest cost. What does this interest rate that I have on my 30-year mortgage cost me from now until the end of my loan? People are, oh, I'm in a 2.5. Okay, great. You're going to spend something like 50% of what you borrow in interest. If that's a $400,000 loan, 200 grand is still a lot of money. If that $200,000, even though the numerical interest rate is higher in the all-in-one, if you were only to spend $110,000, okay, well now you have $90,000 that you were going to spend elsewhere that now could be used for a future car purchase or, again, advancing your life for the things that you need at the time that you need them.
Gotcha. So to clarify, there's multiple scenarios, not 100% of the time, but there's multiple cases, scenarios, circumstances where you may have a lower rate mortgage, right? That is a 30-year, but the all-in-one might be 2 points, almost say maybe 2.5, maybe 3 interest points higher than your current rate mortgage. And depending on where you're at in your
Mm-hmm.
30-year mortgage and the time that you acquire the all-in-one, we can make a strong argument, not just an emotional one, but a mathematical
Mm-hmm.
argument that even though you're at a higher interest rate, your net interest cost on a daily basis and then over a period of time, your interest cost is actually going down faster than that lower rate mortgage because one is based off of the original, how did you say it? Because I want to make sure,
The original loan amount.
original loan amount
Yes.
versus an all-in-one, you're being charged interest daily on whatever you currently owe at that point in time.
Exactly. Exactly. It's, and a lot of people say, oh, my average balance. No, it's not average balance. It's the first day of the month or today. If you owed $200,000 on your home at 11:59 tonight, any money in your checking account will go into your mortgage. If there was nothing in there, then at midnight you'll owe $200,000. Your payment for the 2nd of December is going to be based off of a $200,000 balance. Tomorrow you get paid, let's just say, and you had 5,000 go into that account. At 11:59, the money is going to sweep from your checking into your mortgage. You're now going to owe 195. At midnight tomorrow, your payment's calculated off of 195. And it just adds it up over the course of the month until you reach the end of the month. And whatever that interest payment is going to be paid out on the 21st of the following month.
Right. So it's not that the interest is being added to the existing balance on the next day. It's you've got your owed amount, as you said, 200 grand, then it went to 195, then it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down throughout the month. Whatever that balance is, like every time money goes in, it's principal. Every single time. You're not
Mm-hmm.
paying any interest yet. The only time you actually pay your interest cost that was tracking what you owed on a daily basis, it's
Yes.
showing up on the statement balance, and then you'll just pay that interest. And
Exactly.
there's really two ways to actually go about paying that loan interest. You can actually have the equity available in the all-in-one cover that loan interest on that due date, Or if it just so happens that the due date is also the same day you get paid, when money goes into that line of credit only on that one day,
Hmm.
interest will get taken from
Yes,
that dollar, from those dollars, that income, and the rest is principal, and then it resets again. Whereas
exactly.
whereas in your 30-year mortgage, if we're already in the cycle of a current month, the next due date, you already know what it is, right?
Exactly.
You're already going to know what it is, and it'll say what your mortgage payment is, because it's always the same number for the most part, right? And so
On
then,
the all-in-one?
no, on the 30-year
Oh, sorry, on a
mortgage.
30 mortgage. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So on the 30-year mortgage, we already know what your payment's going to be this month, next month, the month after that. It's the same. So what happens is, even if you made an extra payment sometime in the cycle, it doesn't actually change next month's interest payment, or I
No.
should say the cycle that you're in, right? Whatever
Yes,
statement cycle you're in, even if you made
correct.
an extra payment, it doesn't change that month's interest. So you have to pay
Exactly.
that month's interest no matter what, right? That's going to happen. Then the following statement is where you'll see the impact of what you did last month starts to show up next month. So there's a little bit of a delay there in how the interest gets charged, and
Hmm.
how you are impacted in a beneficial way when you make extra payments. The other thing to note here with a 30-year mortgage, not to say all 30-year mortgages are set up like this, but there are some lenders where, let's just say your mortgage payment is $3,000 a month and you're making an extra $1,000 payment. In some cases, for example, if we are in a statement cycle and it has already been posted, your next payment, 3 grand, and you are trying to make that $1,000 payment sort of extra before the due date, that $1,000 may not actually get registered on that day you submit it
Hmm.
to the principal. What some lenders will do is they'll actually hold that 1,000 because you owe 3,000 coming up. So they need to make sure that you actually pay $3,000
Yeah.
first before any more dollars goes to principal. So what ends up happening, a lot of people don't even realize this, is they're making an extra $500 payment, an extra $1,000 payment, and they're using a Excel spreadsheet, and they're mapping out how long it's going to take me to accelerate my mortgage. What the Excel doesn't know is that when you put your mortgage payment in, your interest, the balance owed, how many years, how many payments remaining, and then when you put that extra column for extra payments, or any amortization calculator for that matter, the amortization calculators that you're using is not factoring in the amount of days it takes for that extra payment to actually register to the mortgage, number one. And number two, it also doesn't know where you're at in the statement cycle. So
Hmm.
when you put an extra $1,000, an extra $500 payment, you're trying to do your Google Excel to see how long it's going to take you to pay your mortgage off. Understand that it's showing an instant impact to the interest costs, and then it shows what that looks like
Hmm.
the next months. That's actually inaccurate, because when you actually look at your lender and how they're applying that $1,000 payment, sometimes they may not apply it on that day you submitted the payment. It definitely doesn't happen because it takes a few days to actually submit the payment. And if that payment gets submitted before your actual due date, then that 1,000 can get applied to your actual mortgage payment. So it's as if you didn't really make an extra payment. You just paid your payment sooner. That's all you did. And then you'll see the impact the following month, right? But again, if you don't actually pay more than $3,000, right, and it actually the mortgage payment has to get satisfied before the statement cycle ends. So you have to actually pay 3 grand, then pay your extra 1,000, so that you can see that real impact on your mortgage. And so that's a lot. to be even thinking about,
And managing a
and
spreadsheet and
managing
the
a
yeah.
spreadsheet to have it align with your actual mortgage payment. Whereas the all-in-one, every time you make a payment to your first position HELOC, it's instant principal, instant impact in your cost of money. Essentially, that is a tremendous
Game changer.
value over a 365-day period, not just a 30-day period. When you look at a full year of how those payments were applied throughout the year, it's way more efficient for the average American that has income, has expenses, and some discretionary cash flow left over that can immediately get applied to the debt and immediately be available, 100% of it, for emergencies, what if scenarios, et cetera, et cetera. All right.